Welcome to the Pitchfork Chronicles. I am Tats. I am here with Donald. We will be breaking down the series with the Red Sox, the upcoming series with Toronto. And is Judge just getting pitched to very carefully, or is the pressure getting to him? We're going to analyze that right here on Pitchfork Chronicles. All right, welcome back to Pitch Track Chronicles. I'm Tots. I'm here with Donald. And Donald, anytime that there is a sweep of the Red Sox, it is just fun to watch. It's fun to be a part of. How are you feeling about how this team is starting to kind of click again, going into the end of the year with the division, wrapped up pretty much?
Yep, 4-game sweep. Two games off the Pirates. Beat the Brewers. That's turned things around for sure. We're on a good winning run. They've kind of settled down, and they're getting a little bit of consistency. They're playing a little better. And what's awesome is, obviously there's a big focus on Judge hitting the home run, but it's not distracted from the team trying to win the division, and Aaron Judge is the leader of that. He isn't preoccupied by home runs. He's doing whatever it takes to win games for the Yanks, whether it's taking what the pitcher gives him, whether drawing walks or getting singles or doubles, whatever. He's still doing his thing, playing his part, and everyone's kind of pitched in. So I've been happy with the performances lately. It's been a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a tease when we on the opening about it. Is he falling under the pressure? And the easy answer to that is no, because it's not that he's going over up there swinging, just trying to force the home run. He's still putting together some solid at bats, contributing at bats. He's getting hits. He's still, I think right now, him and Bogarts are tied at the batting average of 314. So he's still very much in reach of the Triple Crown. So he's not falling under the pressure at all. I think it's just that he's, like you said, he's taking what the pitchers give him and just putting the bat on the ball. He's still getting base hits, doubles. He's still a very key key part to this Yankee run that it seemed like everybody's kind of rallying around each other, which is something that teams kind of falter from when they're in that slump. They all want to be that guy that broke them out of it rather than just working together to get through it. And we're starting to see the payoff and the camaraderie in that dugout, that they're all just kind of teaming together and going, all right, what can we do to just get the wins? We saw the game with Bader. I think it was Friday, where they were scoring runs on small ball, just moving around the bases, taking advantage of mistakes. So you're starting to see a very cleaner Yankee baseball as of late.
Yeah, they're all kind of pitching, and I've been impressed with Bader. Bader looks really good.
Yeah.
And I think we need to talk about Oswaldo Cabrera. I think he's been the heart of a lot of the things that we're doing, which has been great. Obviously, he's been good in the outfield, but his bat has really been really good lately. Some big swings. He looks like a difference maker. I think we could be looking at our next year's left fielder.
Yeah. No, he's looking like anytime that there's an inning starting to build or a rally, he always seems to be in the middle of everything. Whether he's making a defensive play or at the bat, the ball is finding him, the moment is finding him, and he's risen to it. He has just been very impressive since his call up. Especially because the glove we knew was there. They were putting him in how many? We said he was going to play in 9 different positions by the time the season was over. Mm-hmm. But he seems to have found a home in the outfield that really suits him well. And I think the Yankees need to capitalize on that and don't shuffle him around much more.
That's just amending your title here, Tats,
Yep.
so I can get it
Uh,
sent out. There we go. Okay, that's that done. They did add some hashtags in there. Okay, so no, Aaron Judge. Obviously, the big focus is him, but I've been loving what a lot of guys have been doing. Trevino, at the bottom of the order. Bader's been great. Oswaldo Cabrera's been great. Those guys have really stood out to me. Rizzo was added protection to Judge. That's been big too.
yep.
And Gleyber Torres in the 3-hole has really contributed to. He's been hitting the ball really, really well. It looks like he's in a hot streak right now. So we're getting a lot of contributions up and down. Even Josh Donaldson is a different hitter since having his kid. He seems to be a different guy. So everyone's kind of been contributing over those last 6-7 games.
Yeah, no, Donaldson's kind of, you don't know what you're going to get from him, and what we're getting right now, we'll take it. You know, the slump that he was in before he had to go out on paternity, he looked just terrible. He looked like he almost forgot how to play baseball in some games. You know, it also almost makes you, you know, what was the anticipation of becoming a father just a little overwhelming for him and kind of taking his focus away from the game. But if this is what we're going to get now that he is, you know, that he's kind of back in the swing of things with the Yankees, that could be a very important bat in these postseason games, because it does, you know, like we always say, it's not just the strength of the lineup, it's the length within the lineup. You know, you need to have solid players that are going to be able to contribute, whether they're in the top of the order, the middle, or the back end of the order. So Donaldson could be one of those guys that you have, and you know, even slide down to like the 6 or 7 spot, just to kind of give a little push towards the bottom of the order.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and the batting order is looking a lot healthier, and not just guys that are coming back from the IL. I think that the way that they're being placed in the lineup highlights their strengths, and not trying to force them into playing, you know, or approaching the at bat in such a way where, all right, if I'm not a power hitter, but they're putting me in the 4 spot, I gotta hit for power, you know, and it just doesn't work. We saw, you know, after IKF hit the grand slam that game, the next game he's in the 4 spot, you know, and it's like, why? He didn't belong there. Keep him where he was in the bottom of the order to kind of get on base for when the lineup flips over. Keep these guys in the roles that suits them the best, and helps that, you know, gives them the best opportunity to get this team a win. We're starting to see a lot more consistency in the lineup, and everybody's roles have been consistent, and that's why we're winning the way we are.
That's right.
The pitching aspect. What concerns should we be having, if any, with the bullpen?
Yeah, the bullpen is going to be by committee. There's not any set rules, so that's one of my big concerns. We've got the arms, we've got the talent, but there's not really a defined rule for anybody. So that's going to be something to watch out for in October. But it largely they managed to do the job. Some not great performances, but in general they held out, and we won every game, so you can't look too bad about it. But starting rotation was fine. Garrett Cole wasn't great though.
No, Cole's so tricky. It's one, stop with the temper tantrums. Okay, you're a professional. You know, you're supposed to be the ace, the leader of the staff. I understand that, you know, you're frustrated because you got squeezed by the umpire, but when you look at the pitch,
He didn't really get squeezed.
It really wasn't. It wasn't as egregious as we've seen in the past. We've seen calls going, with that, you know, screaming for robot umps. Not this time.
It was a ball. It was a clear ball. I don't quite know why he reacted like that. I think it was just to vent his frustrations because he again left the pitch up in the zone. That seems to be what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's been, you know, if you take away the home runs that often, like most of the home runs he gives up are either like game tying or or home runs that put us behind. Um, when you take away those home runs, he's actually pitching really well. But then he has this one inning where he puts a couple guys on, and he loses location, and suddenly, bang! It's a 3-run home run, and then the game's changed. That's what he's been doing all year long. You're in this false sense of security watching him going, oh, he's mowed down the first, 9, 12 guys. He's looking great. Then he has this one inning where he puts 3, 4 guys on, bang, home run. Oh, 3, 4 home runs have suddenly changed his box score and changed the game. That's what he's been doing. He needs to work on that because, he's certainly on course for the strikeout record for us, but then he's also on course for the home run record too. So he's tied his career high that he had back in Pittsburgh. This is not the ace Garrett Cole that we've signed up for. And I didn't really like that he mouthed off at the umpire. If it was a strike and he got hosed, fine. But it just kind of looks like he was trying to deflect the attention from the fact that once again he left pitches up in the zone. Once again he got tattooed, and once again he gave up a lead. I don't know when Garrett Cole's going to show up. I like Garrett Cole. I've been trying to make excuses for him all year, but then he continues to go and do this. So he's still capable of giving you 8 innings of 15 strikeouts and no run ball, but it's few and far between right now.
Yeah, and what is he's got given up 31 home runs this year, 9 of them alone to the Red Sox. The Red Sox just own him. He just cannot pitch around these guys. He cannot navigate through that water multiple times. They're adjusting to him. And it almost seems like it's always, we saw it in the beginning of the year in the first half. He kept going away from his fastball and using his all-speed stuff. And you see that a lot with the Yankee pitchers, not just all.
That's what Matt Blake's been doing, man. He really wants us to emphasize our secondary pitches. And I think we're going off our fastballs. I don't like that. I think a lot of our staff, their talent is their high-speed pitches. So I don't really necessarily understand why we have to focus so much on their secondary.
Yeah. It's not like where you have a guy like, a pitcher like Herman, whose curveball is his best pitch. The movement on his curve, that is his dominant pitch. So you want to lead with that and then, fool him with a fastball straight down, into the zone. So in that way, it works with the way the Yankees like using the all-speed pitches. But that's only one person on your whole staff that can pitch like that. So you need to go where it works for that pitcher. Mm-hmm. If Cole's dominant pitch is his fastball, use his fastball and then get everybody else off balance with the off-speed, not the other way around. Because then all they're doing is you're already scripting how you're going to pitch to them. So it's as good as Matt Blake has been this year with the pitching staff. There is still a lot of reasons to scratch your head of what he's doing in between the games.
Yeah, so the Garrett Cole start wasn't great. 6 innings, 4 runs. But Tyon prior to him was great. 6 innings, no run ball. Mm-hmm. Then Herman, 5 innings, 3 runs. He was okay. Wasn't great, but it wasn't a great start from him. The first inning was not too good, but then he settled down after that and gave you a reasonable outing. And then we get to Nasty Nestor, who's been the ace of our rotation. 6 innings, 1 hit, 5 Ks. He was again the man. He's been our ace. He has been our ace for sure.
Yep. Yeah, Herman, that game. He's had enough good starts before that, where you could be like, all right, he just had he had the rough inning. He was able to work through it. I don't think it's going to derail his confidence going forward. So I'm not too concerned about it. If he does it, if he has to start like that again to close out the year, maybe you get a little nervous and you just put him in the bullpen for the postseason, not have him start, especially now that Severino's back. So the options are there for the Yankees to survive this and navigate the pitching staff accordingly, and and kind of highlight their strengths rather than just force them through everything.
Yeah, so Aaron Boone says that it's most likely that Montas won't be ready to be a full starter in the playoffs, which means that he's either going to be a bulk guy or maybe an opener. So you'll definitely be looking right now at Cole, Nestor, I assume Severino, and then what, Tyon?
I think Tyone would be your four. I think moving Herman to the bullpen just makes too much sense because you want to have a starter available just in case. Because once you set your rosters, you're done. You don't want to leave him off because then you can't add him. So if you have him in the bullpen, at least you can wiggle him in earlier in the game if needed. So I think that would be an advantage to have a starter that's stretched out that can give you multiple innings in a tight game.
Did you watch the Apple Plus game?
I watched the first inning and I had to turn it off. It was terrible. I don't like it. I don't.
That was awful. How bad are the announcers?
They were terrible.
It's like they've never. It's like they've never announced a baseball game before. It's like they've never seen baseball before.
No, it was almost like they were calling the game like they were watching a little league game. That's the feel that I got from.
You know what they were actually. It was more like it was more like they were aiming at an audience of people that are very casual baseball fans that have probably never even watched it before, and it's just something to do in between watching Apple Plus series. Do you know what I mean? It was just kind of like, oh, before you get ready to watch the next series, here's a baseball game for you. We don't really know what we're talking about, and I assume that you guys don't know what we're talking about, so it's all fine. That's kind of what it felt like to me. It was really astonishing. Like, for instance, the girl in the booth, her name escapes me. She basically admitted, well, she did admit she's a Red Sox fan, and she didn't actually add anything to the broadcast. She just added random things like, I like the color red. There's, just random nonsense that had nothing to do with the broadcast or the game. It was astonishing that they get paid, probably handsomely, to do that. And I mean, it's just as well that Aaron Judge didn't break the record for that Apple Plus thing, because I mean, you heard the way he called home runs. It was like he didn't know what he was doing. It was shocking, really. Anybody watching our show, anybody could have done a better job than the Apple Plus broadcasters. That's how bad he was.
Very amateurish.
It was amateurish. It's shocking, really. I don't understand. I think it was an element of Yankee greed, really, that they had to pawn these extra games off because there's Amazon Prime, now Apple Plus. Now I have to go and get this app and that app and that app. It's really abominable, actually. So I'm quite. I still did it though because it's all for Aaron Judge. So listen, I bought into the whole Yankee thing too, man. I subscribed to Apple Plus just to watch the Aaron Judge thing, and boy, were we close. He was that close that he had it. I was sure he had it. So I was oh man, he was so close on a number of occasions over the weekend. But certainly that Apple Plus game was a horrible broadcast, insulting to my intelligence to watch it, and insulting to any baseball fans intelligent watching it. And I'm sure Red Sox fans didn't even like it either, even though it was a Red Sox oriented broadcast with Red Sox fans on the actual broadcast. It still was an ugly broadcast and added absolutely nothing to the appeal. It was they need to, if they're going to continue to show these games, they need to actually have baseball broadcasters, man. They really need to.
Yeah, it was. If it wasn't for the home run chase one, I would have never even signed up for Apple. and I only turned it on when I was listening on the radio as I do every night at work. If Aaron Judge was at the plate, I would put the screen on just to watch.
Yeah.
I would still have John and Susan's call on the audio while getting a visual of watching it because I didn't want to hear that call. But a part of me was also curious how they would call such a big home run like that. And I had tweeted out because I really wanted Michael Kay to get in that broadcast booth because you know you remember because as big of a Jeter fan as you are, you can still hear as if it was just said 5 seconds ago. Michael Kay's call on Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit.
Yep.
That history
3,000 with an exclamation
point. And that was such a. We've heard a lot of broadcasters, with Vince Scully and all those guys from the past. They all have those iconic calls. That was Michael Kay's signature call. Was that Derek Jeter one? I so want to hear how he's going to call 61 and 62. Yep. I really do. And I'm not a big Michael Kay fan.
He's the voice of the Yankees for me.
But he's the voice of the Yankees.
And for me, Michael Kay is the voice of the Yankees because every historic moment that the Yankees have had over the last 20 plus years, it's Michael Kay's call. Like, for instance, even Corey Kluber's no hitter.
Yeah.
What is it on a Wednesday night in November? Kluber becomes part of the event forever. I mean, that was, Kluber becomes part of forever. That was what he said. That was really cool. He has all these timeless calls. And even if you look at the pregame, the way they do this video montages of Judge's historic chase, Michael Kay always scripts you perfect description of it. He's really good at this. He's supremely talented at drawing the viewer in and having these timeless calls. So yeah, for me, he is the voice of the Yankees, and I want to hear him do the Aaron Judge call. I really do. I'm excited. Move Over, Babe was a pretty good one. He just has these, especially all the Derek Jeter ones, phenomenal. I mean, obviously, the big story is always going to be the Jeter's home runs or Judge, whatever. But Michael Kay plays a part too, because when you watch all the broadcasts over the last 20 years, like we all have, it kind of becomes synonymous with it. So it's important. And the Apple Plus thing would have been a complete disaster. It really would have.
And it's a familiar voice. It's, our announcers, we watch the games with them. We're not just watching them. We're watching with them. They're part of our inner circle of taking in Yankee baseball. Mm-hmm. Whether it's Michael Kay on the radio or John Sterling on the radio, Kay on TV and Sterling on the radio, those are voices you're like, all right, you kind of just hanging out with your friend watching the game, and they're just kind of giving you the insight on it. There's that familiarity with it that we don't have because now baseball is going into 50 million other apps.
Yeah, I mean, it's also partly on Hal Steinbrenner as well, having to sell off all these Yankee games to extra apps. You didn't really need to do it, man. You've got your own television broadcast. You got the Yes Network. They're pretty damn good, very, very lucrative. It's the most viewed sports channel in the New York area. So there's really no excuse to having to pawn it off to Amazon and then go, actually, you know what? Let's send it off to Apple Plus too. And then the Yankees tried to negotiate a trade with Michael Kay to come and do the Apple Plus broadcast. But hey, the Yankees put themselves in that position. There should never have been a position where this historic moment was coming up and they're pawning it off to apps which have no business doing baseball games. So that's my rant over. The booth was a disgrace. Terrible. But anyway, Aaron Judge, man, he's very, very close. Very, very close on a number of occasions. Like even yesterday's game, I thought he hit it. I thought he hit another home run. He just undercut the hanging slider, which I think in in any other day, or if he wasn't chasing a home run record, would have far cleared the fences. It was a hanging slider right for him, and he undercut it, and then he kind of popped it up a little bit. He looked pissed off. How do you feel about the real possibility that the record's going to be broken not at home?
It would be a shame for the fans that are going to be at the stadium, that have been there waiting. They paid extra. The prices of the tickets went up because of it. And as fans, we're dedicated enough where we would have spent the money anyway, regardless of the chase. It's still the end of the year. We're trying to get as much baseball live as we can, but at the same time, it's as long as you could be. I think that most fans deep down at least want to be able to say that another Yankee in the American League hit this, has the record. I don't think where he does it is really going to play too much of a part at this point.
I think it does actually. It was a real shame that he couldn't do it during the week, because every single at bat there was a hush in the stadium.
Oh, the anticipation's insane.
The anticipation was incredible. It was really special. We had Maris's family there. There wasn't a seat free in the house. Everybody was filming it. Everybody wanted to be part of it. Could you imagine if he had broken it or tied it at Yankee Stadium? It would have been like nothing we've ever heard or seen before. It would have been really special. But yeah, I think Judge will certainly get 61 in this 3-game road trip. I think he will. Part of me hopes that he saves one of them to go and hit the record-breaking home run at Yankee Stadium against the Orioles. I'm hoping that.
Yeah, because they got
3 against the Jays on the road.
Yep, and then they come, back home, right?
Yep, against Baltimore.
Yeah, against Baltimore. So, let him tie it on the road. Let him break it at home.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think that's a fair exchange.
I think that's a fair exchange.
Yeah,
I think he's capable.
Break it at home. That's it. Unless you
if he hits one, just sit him, because I want him to hit it. I want to hit him at Yankee Stadium. I really do.
Well, if the division was already won, I could see that as a situation. But until the division is locked up, you have to put your best players out there.
Yeah, I know.
And it's going to be a situation.
Also, you can't pre-predict when he's going to hit home runs. You just can't do it. It's obviously, I wish he could, but apparently he's human. He hasn't been human until this week, but he's human now. So
yeah,
I think there's an element of it's definitely kind of in his head, but what's amazing is it's not taken away the quality of his at bats and his leadership. It's been phenomenal.
We've never seen this before.
No,
we've seen where you need that last one for a record, and it just takes forever. And that you could just see that they're pressing at the plate, they're trying to force it to happen. Judge isn't doing that. So he's still putting together the quality of bats, like we talked about earlier in the show. Like, you do have to ask, is the pressure of getting that big power swing kind of affecting it a little bit, and by very little?
Split seconds he's been off. Split seconds. Because that home run ball, potential home run ball that went right to dead center, like 413 feet, that would have been a home run in a lot of places. Yeah. It's kind of bad luck that one wasn't there. Especially the one yesterday with that hanging slider where he just got a little bit under it. It's been right there. And I'm sure he's gonna get one of them in this 3-game road trip, and it's still gonna be special, no question about it. But what's amazing is that he's also competing for the batting title as well. A lot of times when you're chasing a certain record, or certainly a home run record, you're just going to go all out for that home run. But Aaron Judge isn't doing that. He's happy to do whatever it takes to help the team win. And I've never quite seen anything like it. Judge is really such a leader, and he's a winner, man. He's a true winner. Like when he hit number 60, he didn't even celebrate. He only celebrated when Stanton hit the home run to win the game. That just shows how special a player and person that Aaron Judge is, man. He's a consummate teammate, consummate professional, consummate winner.
Yeah, no, it's really going to be special when he does it, regardless of where it is. But like we said, it would be nice to have it done at home. But sometimes you can't, as much as you know that, destiny is on your side, and pretty much at this point, it's almost inevitable that he is going to break it. I just can't see a situation where he just completely just goes powerless in the next week. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it's done, where it's done, and against who. Is it going to be against Toronto? Is it going to be against Baltimore? You never know.
I hope the Maris family will be there. They did say that they're planning on being in Toronto, so I certainly hope that they will be there to see the history. It's going to be special no matter where it's hit. I've tuned into every single at bat. I'm not missing that bat. I want to be there live and to see it happen.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
But all right, well, that is going to wrap things up for us today, and we will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be talking about 61 being hit. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a Yankee win. We'll take that above everything else. So the division is in our hands. It's just a matter of us handling our business. What you have been watching on Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku, on Facebook, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, on Twitch. We are everywhere and anywhere you can find Yankee baseball. So wear your pinstripes, your pride, play hard, and tune in tomorrow.